What did you think of Kendi's kind of, now that Kendi, in the introduction, Kendi like talked about their racist speech, and now that we kind of have come full circle in Kendi's journey to writing that speech, what are you thinking? And also, we have like over half the book left too, so
No, I know. It's like, how many more topics? Unfortunately, there are many more ways that he can and will go about this. But I mean, you're right. Like, we've gone full circle, which is amazing, because I remember in the beginning he was talking about his parents and how like Black Power and all of the things that they were. And so for me, it was interesting that he wrote a speech so based in his understanding of racism as a kid of a parent of two parents who really understood racism and sexism, or and segregation and all of the problems underlying in our culture. And so for him to, first of all, I love that his friend was just like, you should write a speech. And then he did. And then when he wasn't there, she vouched for him. Like, wow, great friends. And then
right.
it's just, he was in the midst of dealing and internalizing all of that racism that he had to represent his community. So to me, it's so interesting that he's internalizing that, he's living in that, and then writes a speech. Further, I feel in some ways that speech had to counter with what he was feeling. Like, it had to make him feel worse, because I mean, I think at this point he still wasn't excelling at school. He still wasn't feeling it, like just enough to play basketball. So it's just such a, it feels so countering to me.
Mm-hmm.
At a crossroad within himself.
Yeah. Like, especially whenever it came to school, because of that whole racist stereotype that all Asians are smart.
Mm-hmm.
And how I've experienced racism as an Asian, people have told me, oh, Asian racism isn't as bad as anti-Black racism because, comparing the two, which you can't compare the two, first of
No.
all. It's all racist. It's all white supremacy. They would say Asian racism is good racism because people assume that you're smart. So going down that rabbit hole, another Asian racist ideal I dealt with in high school was the idea of the Asian fail, which is a 92 or below. Had you ever heard of the Asian fail?
I have.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So we would talk about like our grades and our scores in classes, and if we made 92 or below, they'd be like, oh, Asian fail. Yeah, they would talk about us not succeeding academically, being in the top 10% of our class, which I don't know. I was in the top 10% of my graduating class, which I have no clue because I had a terrible junior year. And I think that also just kind of goes back to the economic resources. I was doing really horribly in chemistry, and my parents got me a chemistry tutor. Mm-hmm. Easy. Yeah. Like, it was no question. And then kind of going further down that rabbit hole of anti-Asian racism in academics, like, they would tell us that Mulan quote, dishonor on you, dishonor on your whole family, dishonor on your cow, kind of like as a joke. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.